Hi, my name is Katie Ibanez, and this presentation is for the course Business Communication at Southern Wesleyan University. The information that we'll be discussing today comes from the text Business Communication for Success, the 2015 edition, and I will be referencing Chapter 8 in the book. And what we will be discussing today is feedback. So sometimes when we hear that word feedback, it can elicit a little bit of fear and concern because none of us want to be judged or criticized. And as Christians, a lot of us are familiar with Matthew 7:1 that tells us, do not judge or you too will be judged. So we want to make sure that when we are giving or receiving feedback, it is not in the spirit of judging, but it is in the spirit of giving honest feedback and reaction and to help the person who's presented that information, helping them to improve upon their business savviness and their experience will continue to propel them through their career. So let's talk about what feedback is. It is the reaction to a work product. It is the response from the audience. And what we're talking about in this particular chapter is response to written correspondence. So as an author, we have some responsibilities. And in order for us to have feedback, we have to present something. So let's talk about the responsibilities of the author as we prepare ourselves to be able to receive feedback for what we present. There are 4 principles that we want to follow. And what we'll call those are 3C plus E. So let's explore what those are. The first C is for correct. And that's something we've explored in this course. It's making sure that we fact check, that we review our grammar and our spelling, and make sure that our work product is truly proper and correct. It has the information that is up to date and that what we intended to communicate is there. We also want to explore the clarity of our written correspondence. That's the second C. So making things clear. When things are up for interpretation, we leave ourselves open to miscommunications, all types of troublesome situations. If you meant to convey one thought or process and people interpret it as something else, you could find yourself at a true disadvantage, especially in the business world. So you want to make sure all of your correspondence is clear. The third C is for concise. We live in a world where people have a lot of competing things that are looking for their attention, whether it be multiple emails or text or tasks and duties and responsibilities. We want to make sure that we value their time and that the moment that they've taken out to be able to read our correspondence is respectful of that, and that our information doesn't include any fluff. We get right to the point. When I was a little girl, I used to watch Dragnet with my grandmother, and Sergeant Joe Friday always says, "Just the facts, ma'am." And I've always liked that. Just the facts. Keep it short and sweet and get to what you need to do. And then the E, so we've gone through the three C's, which were correct, clear, and concise. The E, the last step in that formula, is for ethical. We want to make sure that everything that we are writing follows the company's code of ethics, but more than that, that it follows our own ethical standards, that it is not in any way morally biased or morally corrupt. So that's how we prepare ourselves for feedback. And let's talk about the way we might receive feedback. There's a few different ways that we get that, and namely, there's 2 methods in which that information comes back to us. One method is through indirect feedback. So this may be information and reactions that come through email chains that you're not included in as the author, or maybe water cooler conversations. No one ever has a water cooler anymore, but that same principle, in my business we call it back channel. So maybe not information that associates or representatives have communicated directly to the author of the correspondence, but maybe conversations they have on the side. And that feedback can be important because you do want to gauge, you want to get a barometer of how people are reacting to information. But the troublesome part about that is that it's not reliable because you don't know who had that thought, and it's not actionable because you're not able to decipher where the information came from, where the misunderstanding is, and where the opportunity to improve upon the correspondence exists. So the preferred way of getting feedback will be through direct feedback, when a person or persons speak directly to the author, either verbally or in writing. They give also clear, concise, correct, and ethical feedback in order to open a dialogue and make sure that everyone's on the same page with that communication. So we've learned a little bit about feedback. We've learned about our responsibilities as an author. We want to make sure that we are using feedback in the proper way to support ethical business practices and influence our own brand. We want to make sure that we are creating a legacy as Christian business people and a legacy that we can be proud of. Thank you.